Welcome, Mama, to the Postpartum Coach Podcast. Finally, a podcast dedicated just to the mental and emotional world of us postpartum women. I am your friend, fellow mama, and postpartum life coach, Lizzie Langston. After intense birth trauma, delivering my first child, and really scary mental health crises following the birth of my second and third baby, I set off on a 6-year journey to understand postpartum mental health from the inside out. On this podcast, I bring you, as a mom of 4 and a certified postpartum life coach, the tools you need to avoid mental health crashes, to get out of the postpartum rut, and to embrace a vivacious motherhood that you love from the inside out. Let's get you feeling like yourself again, Mama, and welcome to the Postpartum Coach Podcast. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Postpartum Coach Podcast. Typically, I release on Thursdays, and today is Friday. I just wanted to let you know that that is genuinely the best I can do. So it's really good to be with you a day later than usual. This summer has us, the Langston family, full. The house is full. We've got my 10-year-old all the way down to the 1-year-old baby girl. And I've got a kid on the autism spectrum. We've got summer camps. You know, I bring up the autism spectrum just because there's therapy that comes to the home. And so anyway, it's been a choice to be present with the kids. And I keep reminding myself of that choice so that I can make sure that I'm not going into a place of self-pity or despair or stuff like that, and really just staying present with all of it, and then taking breaks as needed. So that's been my work, like with a capital W this summer. What about you? How's your summer going? Or maybe you're a homeschooling mom, so this is not feeling like your typical traditional summer. And or maybe you are just a mama of a new baby, or you're just a pregnant mom. And I don't mean just a pregnant mom, like, holy cow, there's so much. But I'm just saying maybe you don't have older kids. And so wherever this summer finds you, hello. I wanted to have a quick heart-to-heart before I dive in. And by the way, if you're new, my name is Lizzie, and I'm a real human. Hello. No AI over here. Make sure that you check out the free resources I have. So this podcast is free. And then I really love making free things that really help moms. I remember I was like a poor student wife when I needed help. And so like my parents paid for my first life coaching thing. So I try to create a lot of free stuff to help those of you who guys don't have a ton of resources right now. And so you can go to LizzieLangston.com, or even if you do, just get some free help. LizzieLangston.com/work with me, and you'll see everything there. But also just check the show notes, which are all the links with this episode. I've got a free mini course called Get Out of the Postpartum Rut. And then I just want everybody to know that I am available for private coaching. I am taking clients who are ready to dive in. They are ready to do the work. And you can book a free consultation with me at LizzieLangston.com/consult. So the heart-to-heart that I wanted to have with you, moving on to that now, is that I realized that I have held myself to this standard in my business, like on the professional facing side of things, where I expect of myself the availability and consistency that I see in business owners whose children are grown and gone and out of the house. And I've always kind of prided myself on this idea that, you know, just because my kids are little doesn't mean I can't have a successful business. I can't be da-da-da-da. And then this summer, I've really leaned into the feeling, the discomfort or the sadness or the disappointment or the uncomfortableness around, man, I miss being more present in my business. I miss doing more marketing, this and that. And I really owned the fact that it's been a choice to be present with my kids. And it just hit me like in the last 24 hours, actually, that my truth, especially for this summer, is that I'm not that available for my business. So here I am showing up. I actually really love the podcast, but it's a day late. You know, the newsletter, that if you're on my email list, which you will be if you sign up for any of the free things, it's going to go out a day late too. And also my daughter has an eye surgery tomorrow with like a 2-week recovery and antibiotics and little exercises and keeping her hands out of her eyes. And she's 12 months old. So I just want to say that I'm having the epiphany of it's okay to admit and even show up to you guys as the real truth of me and who I am, which is that I have 4 kids, ages 10 to 1, and I choose to be really present with them in a way that sometimes creates less consistency in my business. And I decided that that's not something to apologize about or hide or withhold from you guys, but maybe it will help you identify with me more and feel even like more trust for me. And because I'm real, and I just wanted to share that with you. So, in today's episode, I wanted to read a download, I guess, that I got. I call it a download. So I'm writing a book. If you don't know, I think it's going to be called Postpartum Freedom, but I have yet to sign with a publisher, and typically they kind of help make that decision. But if it were just up to me, I would call it Postpartum Freedom. And so in the writing of the book, every single day since this last week, and then intermittently even before this last week, I've been working on the book. And a lot of times that just looks like whatever is top of mind. But occasionally there's this magical thing where I just get quiet in my body. And sometimes I just have 15 minutes. Other times it's like a nice hour, it just depends. This last time it was like 15, 20 minutes. And I just thought, what do I want to write? And I ended up watching myself and reading my writing. And it said just Dear Postpartum Mom. And it was like a letter to some things I wish I would have known when I was postpartum. And they're very simple and basic and yet fundamental. Usually the fundamental things are very simple and basic. It's like Italian food, it's simple and basic, but because of that, when it's executed so well, it's just like boom, bada boom, bada bang. It's just such comfort food when it's done well. You can't imagine how good it tastes. And similarly, this is one of those things. It's full of some simple, basic guidelines for postpartum. And yet that's why it's so impactful, because I'm not trying to make it all fancy. I'm just telling you literally from a mom to a mom what I wish I would have known. So without further ado, here is that. Dear Postpartum Mom, here's the letter. I'm going to read it. Dear Postpartum Mom, how fast and slow this time goes. How joyful and dark. How high and amazing you feel, and how low and dead you feel. Postpartum is a time of intensity where a lot of women get derailed, no matter their mental health and no matter how they choose to solve or take care of it. They think they have to choose. What I mean is, they think they have to choose who they were before baby, or who they are supposed to be and how they're supposed to be. Or they think they have to choose only the good thoughts. We think we have to choose only the good thoughts. Here is the thing about navigating postpartum that I wish I had known when I had my first 3 kids. You don't have to choose the good in you or the bad. You can just see all of it and notice all of it and hold all of it and let it share space with you. Sometimes we feel this urgency to find a good thought or to get rid of a bad thought. In other words, we think we have to do something, or else something will happen to us, or something like that. What I wish I would have known during my first 3 postpartums is that I don't need to choose anything or do anything. I just need to make space for being more, or for letting the being that's happening within me just be. So that's the first piece of wisdom I have for you, Mama, is remember when that urgency creeps in and you think you have to fight the bad thought away, or you have to hurry and do the good thing to be the good mom, you can actually just sit back and notice all of it. And it is in that place of witnessing the various parts of us that we are actually the most connected to our spiritual roots, to pure consciousness, and to who we really are. That is where clarity of mind comes from, not from strong arming and forcing your brain or your body to operate the way that you think they should, but by being the observer in your mind. It's not just a mindfulness trend. It's not just for yogis. It really is relieving And it creates so much space and, most importantly, so much choice and power comes back in. The next thing I want to tell you is here's something that I believe, and I hope it helps you make sense of everything that you've been experiencing. It's just an idea. It's a lens through which you can see yourself right now. When your belly and vagina stretch to have that baby, or when your abdomen is stretched open via cesarean, I believe your soul stretches right along with those. When your abdomen or your vaginal canal opens wider, your cervix does, and the baby comes down, I believe your soul also opens up and new energy also comes down into you. And I believe this is brand new energy that swirls into us. More of who we are on a soul level is delivered to us just as that baby is delivered. Just like we deliver the placenta after birth, we continue delivering our new soul parts after baby's birth and integrating them. And when that new energy comes to us, it is raw and unfiltered. And sometimes it is what we humans in today's world would label as bad. And it's good. It just is. But what postpartum requires of us and what it required of me was to stop labeling everything I saw and heard in my mind or in my body as good or bad. If you can stop labeling, by the way, labeling is the ego at work. If you can stop labeling, then you can be more in your spirit or consciousness. And once there, you stop reacting and you start observing. And suddenly, just like that moment when you first see your baby, suddenly everything's different. As with your newborn, a whole new world of possibility in your emotional and mental self opens up. Just remember, you don't have to act or choose or unthink or correct a thought. That's all so stressful. It's so much pressure. You literally can just sit back and observe it all. And then when you feel like it, choose something. But you'll be so chill, you'll choose naturally, effortlessly, not from fear. And you'll trust your choice. Like how baby just effortlessly sucks from your breast and nurses. Oh, wait, was that a joke? Some babies do it effortlessly. LOL. Okay, so anyway, one more thing I want to tell you. Last thing. You know how you spend a lot of the day and months and like tons of your life in your head analyzing, criticizing yourself or another, worrying, planning, and wondering? Some of that is beautiful and useful, right? A lot of that is a complete waste of precious energy and precious presence in the moment. What if you decided to live mostly in your body instead of up in your mind and in your head? What if you spent most of your time with your senses and focusing on the vibrations or the sensations of felt sense, taste, smell, touch, sound, sight, and only part of the time was thinking with thoughts when it was necessary to? What if you made your inner world quiet and the dominant vibe was that it was about feeling rather than thinking? What would happen? What would that be like? How would your experience of your emotions change? And if this idea terrifies you or confuses you, what comes up? All right, mamas, that is actually the full letter. As true life coach status, I just ask questions and I leave you to finish the letter to yourself. So I hope that was inspiring and helpful. I hope it starts to break open your brain a little bit and you can start to imagine a different way of being in your body. A lot of times we get into this fix-it mode when we are really struggling, and it's part of how we try to reinstate control. But I really want to offer to you that, number one, you don't need control. You need more consciousness. You don't need more control. You need more consciousness. And the way that you get more consciousness is by stepping back and getting distance, putting distance between you and your thoughts and observing them rather than listening to them or trying to manage them. So try that this week and please let me know how it goes. And if you want to work with me privately, I do have some openings. I am coaching in the evenings because that's when my hubby gets home from work. By the way, if you're local to Arizona, he started a handyman business or a handy person business. And you can just go to knobandnail.com/Abram to check out his business. So it's knob with a K, Knob, and nail.com/Abram, Abram, if you need some, handyman services. All right. I'll see you guys on the next episode. If you're on my newsletter, I hope you enjoyed the email that came with this. I really in solidarity, sister. That's all I got to say to you is keep on keeping on. And yet, if you feel like a victim, the truth is you just might need more help and support to allow yourself to get yourself out of and feeling better about what you're going through. And there's no shame in that. So LizzieLangston.com/consult for private coaching consultation, booking sessions and stuff. And then all the rest of the stuff is in the show notes. All right. See you next week, loves. Take care.
Hey, Lizzie here. I've helped dozens of postpartum moms just like you to manage their postpartum anxiety and deconstruct their postpartum depression. It's really easy for me. So if you're ready to feel better, I know the way. Let's chat on the phone. Set up a time by going to LizzieLangston.com/consult. It's pretty simple, and I will be calling you soon.